Past inspection on the insulation. So they're saying the insulation looks good. Looked at my letter from the truss company saying that it's okay to use hangers for this end of the truss. Of course, the truss company sent me all the hangers, so I know it's the correct way to install it. So everything is up to date on inspections passing. I keep coming across things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I didn't forget this. Like right now, there has to be, a little entryway into the attic so they can work on the HVAC if they ever needed to. This is not going to be a storage attic, so we're not really worried about getting in there for that. Even though I'm starting to think if we did, there actually is some space in there. But if they need storage, here's the storage attic. This gigantic attic over the garage. But I'm glad I didn't forget to do this before drywall. It'd be a huge pain after drywall. Especially since I would not be able to look up there and see where it is I'm supposed to cut out. Another thing I suddenly realized maybe yesterday, I was thinking about how we need to dig a trench and run this water line underground over here to the well house. And then I realized, oh, we need electricity out there too. So I started thinking, oh, I need to run a wire. When they do an inspection, they try to see if you're doing things properly. They're not checking every single wire and every single thing. So the inspectors didn't even notice I don't have any kind of power going to the well house. It's just not necessarily something that they would be checking. But I think what I'm gonna do is just run a wire inside through the walls until I get to this corner over here. And then I'm gonna have some conduit to have my wire go into the ground and run over there. And that's the shortest distance. I think including all the extra that I'll need to go down into the ground and over and back up again, I'll need about 35 feet. But I'm just hoping and praying that if there's any of those little things that need to be done. Oh, yesterday, all of a sudden I realized, hey, I didn't put up all these things yet. This helps the air flow above this plastic. And then when we spray the insulation in here, it goes up against it and keeps it from falling down into the soffit and clogging up the airflow. These things, there's got to be something that works better than these. But they're good enough. But it just doesn't seem like it's properly installed when you have to crush it and staple it flat. You have to cut it. I found a guy on YouTube that was showing me how to cut it so that we could fold it and get a nice closure. But yet, it's just a mess. They look terrible. But they'll serve their function. You might remember Walter from when we were doing the roof on Caleb's house. Now Walter's doing his house, so he's got it all graded. And the holes are dug, and we're just, today we're trying to lay out the plumbing. So first we got to lay out the house and see where the house is. All good to go. Okay, so we got the house laid out with all the strings, so now we know where the exterior walls are. Then we went and had lunch, sat down and figured out all the dimensions of every little thing. So now we got to get out here and spray paint and mark it all off. It's 97 degrees. What are you thinking about this?
It's pretty warm. I think we can get it done, but it's gonna be hot.
It's definitely hot. We just came out of the air conditioning, so we haven't even started sweating yet. Well, we got it all marked out where the trenches are gonna go, and we got these rocks showing where the plumbing is going to go. These will be replaced by stakes just to make sure that nothing happens to them. Maybe the children will come out here and throw them all at each other. Okay, Claire and I are going to run over and get in the shade over at Caleb's house at his barn. And we're going to make a target for throwing knives, throwing stars, and axes. So I'm just brainstorming my own design. We're not gonna go to YouTube or anything and try to find how anybody else is doing it. I've just got a couple ideas of how to make kind of a tripod. Okay, we got all our boards laid out. Now I'm gonna cut a piece to go each side of this. Target board. I'm going to put a block right here and here to attach the legs, and you'll see when I finish. Okay, so we'll put a third leg on it, and then it'll be like this. There, so now it'll be like this, and then we'll put a back leg on it so that it leans back on that tripod. And I had put that spacer block in here so that this isn't leaning back quite as far. It's keeping it a little more straight, even though it's not very straight, but it helps. Okay, now we came over to the barn so I can get a hinge. Put on this third leg. Moving the sheep again. And in a recent video, I was showing you these June bugs. And as quickly as they all sprang up out of the ground, they're all dying now, I guess. They don't have a very long life cycle.